everybody, Gary Stuckey here. Welcome back to another episode of Steve Perry News. Steve is back and he's posting online. Get excited. That's right, get very excited. He's posting about a Rolling Stone article that he did talking about Eddie Van Halen, remembering the good old days when Journey and Van Halen and Montrose were on tour back in 1978. And Steve used to sit beside the stage and just watch Eddie Van Halen play. He was just so much in awe of the guy and his brother, because Steve played drums and he would see Alex pounding those drums. He just appreciated the sound that those two had together, and of course the whole band. Michael Anthony, David Lee Roth, he loved to watch them, and he said that that group really inspired them to do better as a band. And of course, they inspired many other people, including me. But Steve tells stories, very interesting stories, and he talks about the time they were backstage, and Van Halen decides to have a food fight, and somebody knocked over guacamole on Steve's prized possession, his Journey jacket that he loved so much. Ticked him off, and he slammed the door and left, went to the bathroom, and the guy from Rolling Stone was like, "I heard you were crying." He's like, "I wasn't crying." But that's his prized possession, doggone it. And Van Halen ruined the jacket. But I'm sure they made up about, everything. And they were okay after that, I'm guessing. Now, but he says he just never, after that, but I think that did it for him as far as maybe touring again. I don't know. I think he looked at him in a different way. But years later, Eddie decides to call Steve. Steve he had just recorded an album, Street Talk, solo album. Van Halen had just let go, or I guess David Lee Roth had just left the band. Van Halen back in 1985, so Van Halen didn't have a singer. So Eddie Van Halen calls up Steve Perry and says, "Hey, you want to jam out, have some fun?" And Steve's like, "Yeah, that'd be cool, Steve got to thinking about that. How cool would that be? It never worked out. But Steve brings up the fact that, maybe that was the plan. Maybe the plan was to have Steve Perry as the lead singer of Van Halen. How cool would that have been? A totally different sound. Which, of course, Steve went on to do Raised on Radio, and he left again. But how cool would it have been for at least one album? Or what if that was the permanent thing? I think about these things. I know it didn't happen. But what if Steve would have went into that direction? What kind of sound would that have been? I'm just thinking about things like that. But of course, Steve said he couldn't do what David Lee Roth did, different kind of style. He couldn't replace him because it was totally different. He couldn't picture himself doing those songs or that style. And it didn't seem to fit, he said. But, I still wonder. I know you still wonder what that would sound like. Very interesting. So, Steve Perry could have been in Van Halen. There was a chance. But it's just so cool to hear from Steve again. Popping up online and showing everybody that he's still alive. And that's a good thing. And we hope to hear more from Steve very soon. I know there's a remix of Traces coming up, and I'll be telling you more about that and some other things. So, hey, we'll see what happens. Until next time, everybody, whatever you do, don't stop believing. This is Gary Stuckey. God bless you.